big mixed-use development project by YoungWoo&Associates. And this is one of the biggest mixed-use developments that's happened in the Washington Heights neighborhood in a very long time. This is a really cool neighborhood, a lot of residential, a lot of street-level retail, but not a ton of hotels, not a ton of event spaces, and not a ton of Class A office space, all of which this development has. So we're gonna check out the ribbon cutting, we're gonna see what's going on inside this development, and find out why YoungWoo&Associates decided that this right here was the spot for their next big mixed-use project.
So originally what happened was this was a gas station, and the story actually behind it was my father. He was an immigrant to this country for the first time. He used to actually be a delivery truck driver, and his car, or his truck, broke down over the Washington Bridge, and so he's always known about this site.
Population here is about 275,000 people. It's similar to city of Buffalo. They have 2,800 hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Here, 106.
Wow.
So it's way underserved and nobody paid attention to this community. There are almost 2 million Latinos in Tri-State. So we thought we should build that. Then the reason we are building Class A office space, there are so many professional people, but really there's no Class A office space.
Right, they have to go downtown for Class A office space.
There's clearly a demand here that isn't being serviced, and that really led us to developing the hotel. And for the office building, what we were doing was, as we looked around this neighborhood, we started canvassing. You see all these professionals who are effectively in ground floor retail space. And so there's clearly a demand, but there isn't a supply. The same kind of logic behind why we built the hotel, we decided to build the office space.
And you guys have built Class A downtown in Midtown before, so I know you guys know how to build it. Are there choices that you had to make to make Class A pencil out here in a different neighborhood where people are probably willing to pay different per square foot prices?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, there are certain design choices that you had to do, right? At the same time, we couldn't necessarily make it be as luxurious as you would in Midtown Manhattan, but the trick ultimately is how to provide something that is still very beautiful, but maybe isn't nearly as expensive as you would in Midtown.
How has the interest been in the office? And then what kind of pricing are you guys looking at? How does that compare to that downtown pricing?
You know, the demand is there.
Yeah.
So we are getting a lot of interest from a lot of tenants. And I think that you would be very surprised with the pricing. Without giving everything away, we are pricing higher than places like downtown Manhattan. And I think that really speaks again to the intrinsic demand in this neighborhood and us really being the first ones to bring in that supply.
And then tell me a little bit about the hotel. So there's how many keys?
There's a total of 221 keys. The fundamental idea behind the hotel was we wanted to be nice but affordable.
Yeah.
So the way that you make something nice but affordable is you clearly shrink the size of it. And so that's why we're actually providing micro hotel rooms. So about 50% of the rooms over here are micro hotel rooms, and the other 50% are normal, either double-double or suites.
Here's the lowdown on this property now that we saw the ribbon cutting happen. We saw the mayor speak, we saw YoungWoo speak, and a couple other people from the community and from local politics. So there's hotel here where they're already bringing guests inside. They also have an event space up here which has pretty nice views down onto Lower Manhattan. It was pouring when we were there, so we couldn't really see, but that's okay. And they also have a restaurant here where they brought in a really well-known chef from the DR. A lot of the speakers today cited the all-in cost of this project, which was around $300 million, as being the largest private investment ever in this neighborhood. It was a little bit mind-boggling to think about since Yeshiva University is right here and Columbia and New York Presbyterian Hospital is not too far down the street. Those are both pretty big economic drivers for the neighborhood, and it's expected, seemed to be expected, that they would play a pretty big factor in booking those hotel rooms and maybe using some of that office space and event space too. So now that we've checked out the project, let us know what you think in the comments, and we'll keeping track to see how these offices rent, how the hotel performs, what happens in the restaurant. Check out therealdeal.com for more.